Before you start this week's activities, I just want to tell you why we are doing these activities. So first of all, what is ICT? ICT is Information and Communications Technologies, and it includes everything you do in your digital life. So there is hardware, like your smartphone, your computer, your printer, your monitor. There's software, like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and many other applications. There's cloud computing, which we can do with Office 365 and Dropbox. There's internet access, so Wi-Fi or your home router. There's data, managing all of the information we find, and the different communications or ways we have to communicate, and of course, the different ways we have to interact, from shopping to other ways of interaction. But that is ICT as a thing. How about ICT as a skill? To be a proficient user of ICT, you need to know how to best communicate. You need to know how to use your devices to make new content and produce new material. You need to understand how to collect information, how to organize information, how to synthesize information, and how to create new information. And you need to understand how to keep building on what has already been done before you. And all of that starts with your own computer, with your own devices. ICT literacy includes, the ability to access material, the ability to manage information, the ability to integrate information and sources, the ability to evaluate, is this good? Is this bad? And of course, the ability to create. But before you can even get to ICT literacy, you need some cognitive proficiency, which is your thinking. How well do you think? How well do you problem solve? And of course, you need some technical proficiency. And week 1 and week 2, we have been working with some technical proficiency skills. So the foundations of ICT literacy are cognitive, means the things you need to do to live a daily life, to problem solve, to communicate, to be able to read and write and speak, to be able to do math. And the technical proficiency, basic components of your digital life. So understanding the hardware, the software, the networks, and the other aspects of digital technology. So technical proficiency, again, is how to use your hardware and software, and how to manage information on your computer. And for the first few weeks of this course, that is what we are practicing. There are many different web browsers you could be using. Here are some of the most common. For this class, I suggest you use Google Chrome. My experience is that Google Chrome will cause you the fewest problems. So last week, I showed you how to do a simple Google search just for keyboard shortcuts. And here I'm looking at images, and I can see many, many different keyboard shortcuts. But I want keyboard shortcuts for Word. And I'm going to go back here to all. Computer shortcut keys everyone should know. And here's a basic list of computer keyboard shortcuts for Word. In the quiz from last week, if you did not get all the answers right, I wonder, did you search on the internet for more answers? I also noticed many students had a problem with the VLOOKUP function. There were 2 videos last week that showed you how to use VLOOKUP. But if you did not understand, did you try to search for VLOOKUP? If I look for just VLOOKUP, no, I get tsukaikata. So let me try that. And I'm going to look for videos. And here I have many, many videos that will show me how to do VLOOKUP. Or I could go straight to YouTube. And VLOOKUP. And let me look here. And I'm finding VLOOKUP, many videos in Japanese that can show you exactly how to do a VLOOKUP function. So if you had trouble with last week's quiz, I wonder, did you search for information on how to do these functions? My goal is that what I don't tell you specifically in class, you use Google for, and Google for the information. Okay, good luck with this week's activities. And if you have any questions, please post them to the discussion board. By the way, regarding the quiz, I gave you a lot of the information you needed to answer the questions. So here were instructions. E5, use concatenate function to make cell E5 show Spear, comma, Robert. This is the information that should appear. And notice the example. Notice a space after the comma. Down here it gives you instructions on what you need to do. So use concatenate, use sum, use average, and use COUNTIF. When you use the function, this is the answer that should appear. But what you post down here would start with equal and the rest of the formula. And for the next item, I know many students had problems with this, but I gave you a hint. Use the VLOOKUP to answer these 3 questions. Hint, start your array from cell A4 for B18 and B25. Here is B18, here is B25. But for D20, you should start your array from cell B4. I'm giving you a hint right here. And if Excel shows you this error message, then something is wrong. Think about how your array for D20 is different than the other 2. So when you try this quiz again this week, hopefully you've watched my videos, and this should no longer be a problem for you. Okay, I'll let you get on with your activities.